another gigantic week in the world of football. The gang's all here. There's been a couple of remarkable results today, particularly for Nerily Meadows, who is from Fox Footy, by the way. Her beloved Fremantle Football Club had a fantastic win over the Adelaide Crows today.
You can applaud if you want to. It's such an important win with so many players still out. And we've got the bye next, so I get to be a winner for another couple of weeks.
Was there a dodgy goal review again today, though?
It wasn't dodgy. It always hit the post. The review does need looking at, though, but that was the right decision in the end. Don't take that away from me.
The 2.5 hours they took to decide the matter, I thought was quite helpful.
It's worked really nice. It's been another gigantic week in the world of football. There's been another racist gaffe which has had everybody in the world of football talking endlessly this week.
Yeah, it's not good enough, and Collingwood need to find this person, identify who they are they a member? And if they are a member, it's zero tolerance, so they're banned from the footy.
Well, let's hope they can get on to whoever that is really quickly. I will hand it to Eddie, though. He is a man who's onto it. He's a man who knows what he's doing. He actually apologised for his gaffe 5 days before it happened.
We seem to be fighting this a little bit more, not only here at Collingwood, but all around the place. It stops here, and it stops here for everybody. We have to get to the bottom of where this comes from. Why does this happen? This is the footy. You know, you don't do those things. You don't do it anywhere. I mean, we have a zero tolerance, Bruce. It happened last year, as you know, and we suspended indefinitely a member of the Collingwood Football Club, and we'll do that again if that's the case.
So let's hope they find this guy and work out exactly what to do.
Look, mistakes happen. It's fair to say mistakes happen. And Eddie did attempt to explain himself during the week, particularly like this bit.
I made the analogy today. It's like sometimes when you're typing on your keyboard and you're trying to say a word and something else comes up. That's what happened.
So sometimes I type, I'm looking for internet banking and boobies come up. I mean, this stuff happens. It happens. My wife's got to believe me. It was a slip of the finger.
It happens.
It happens.
Your Honour?
It does.
I think we can all, one thing we can all agree on, that we don't believe any McGrath's racist, OK?
Yes,
Not going to lie. Fantastic.
Absolutely.
All right. The other thing that, if you look for a positive to come out of a terrible situation like this, it's at times like this, your friends, the people closest to you, gather around and support you.
Yes,
And
no doubt.
I think this is a typical example of that kind of support that Eddie received.
We're going to make someone a victim out of this. Eddie's not a victim. Eddie's not the victim in this.
Is Eddie racist?
I would say no, but his own admission.
He didn't equivocate there at all, did he? Really, he just leapt straight into support.
Ringing endorsement.
Wasn't enjoying that.
No, I'm going to narrowly. You were the one who brought it up with Mick Moldhouse, weren't you? Brought up the Eddie issue, and I can see in his eyes it was like hallelujah.
Yeah, he wasn't too happy about it, though. He made me have a fair few cracks before he actually answered it.
He wanted to answer it.
Just before we get off this subject, I mean, you, Michael Malloy, spent the whole week with Eduardo. It must have been, from your perspective, sitting in the radio station there at Triple M with him.
Yes.
Tell us a bit about the week that he's endured.
I had front row seats to the greatest circus in town. It seriously was, and if you haven't been hazed by the media before, I have. You don't quite understand how it gets, and he had a very stressful week, and he acknowledges he brought it on himself, and so I'm not, abrogating anything that happened, but it was a pretty tense environment in there for most of the week.
Can I say you weren't on air when it actually happened, because you don't start on air till 7 o'clock, do you, in the morning?
And when they were saying, Eddie should step down, I volunteered to step down or at least come in even later. Because I'm a team player.
No, Mick Malloy, you need to go in earlier. You need to be there at 6 because you need to be the one doing the jokes, not Eddie, all right?
I was in the next room having a coffee and reading the paper. I've never been happier to not been in the studio because we knew at the time it was going to be big.
Luke Darcy, though, was quote of the week, wasn't he?
He did very well.
Oh, wouldn't have thought so.
Yes, he did well.
The whole Eddie Maguire thing really overshadowed probably what would have been a really big footy talking point this week, which is Jack Ziebell. He's banned again. 3 games for a bump on Jared Lyons. Now, Lyons was fine. He played out the game, but this is the 3rd time that Ziebell's been banned in 2 years for a bump. So, yeah, not good for North Melbourne, and people are really sort of not happy happy that this has happened again.
I don't get it. I just don't see how that's any different.
What doesn't sit
it's
comfortably
no
with
different
you?
from some of the ones in previous weeks
And
where
that's
there's
the
nothing.
problem.
I can't tell. I've watched this game all my life and I can't tell what happens every time someone makes contact with another player.
Yeah, but he was in. He last one was against Carlton, and everyone was saying he shouldn't have been done then.
That's right.
Except me, I was saying he should have been done, and but I believe he knows what he's doing there. He wants to hurt the dude, and he copped it.
But you know what?
Everyone
Everyone hates that is being taken out of the game.
Except
that's
the guy
what everyone genuinely
except the guy
hates.
who's getting knocked senseless.
I don't think there's any
he's getting
malice.
hurt.
There's no malice at all from Jack Zeeble in it. That's just the way he plays his footy. He attacks the ball hard and he attacks a man with the ball hard. And
That's like a cuddle.
Yeah,
I've done worse than that on a first date. You know what I'm talking about? That is a friendly get to know.
That's another issue right there. But Brent Harvey's a legend of the North Melbourne club, and this is what he had to say about it.
I honestly don't think Jack will change the way he's playing, and I don't think he can change the way he's playing, because if you take that instinct away from any footballer, it's like telling Drewy not to go for a mark.
I don't think it's quite like that, to be honest, but he can't change, apparently can't change.
Well, Brendan Harvey says there can't change on the football field, but it's not only on the field where he's got a problem. Jack Zeeble has this problem everywhere. Here he is earlier in the week. This is at the movies, and just look at that. I mean, he needs to take... He's got the swagger at the end there, wasn't it? He needs to take a gentler approach to life.
Yeah. While we're at North Melbourne, it's quite... they've got away with it this week. I reckon the torch would have been on them if not for all the other stuff, because it was quite sad to watch them capitulate again.
4 goals up with 4 minutes to play.
I turned the telly off after the Wells things. I thought it was over. 4 games, I think they've lost for a combined 8 points. And Brad Scott left us in he let us know pretty much how he was feeling after the game, talking tough.
We'll adopt a Spartan approach if we have to, and we'll hammer them and hammer them and hammer them until we see who can stand up and who can't.
Here they are being hammered at training this week. I think they've been taught a lesson they won't forget for some time.
I think amnesty should be brought in. That's human rights abuses right there.
They did drag out the old, I'm not sure it was 100 hundreds, but they had them doing repeated 100-metre sprints. So they actually did make them work pretty hard this week.
Yeah, but Brad Scott did go on to say that it was a slip of the tongue and they meant the opposite.
There was a big game at Amy Stadium today. It was miserable conditions over there in Adelaide, but it was a really important game between Adelaide and Fremantle. And the Fremantle Dockers under Ross Lyon, with all of these injuries, just keep getting the job done. This was some sort of performance, Nerily.
Yeah, it certainly was. This was in the last quarter. Dangerfield just managed to get it on the boot and bounced it through. That put them 3 points ahead. And then in a really tough game, Michael Barlow comes out, does this, and within a minute, you've got the absolute winner from Sutcliffe, and they just get across the line. A really important win. So 2 goals in a minute when goals were very hard to come by.
He's the best coach in the AFL, is he not? You reckon? He can beat anyone in the shape,
looking at getting Matthew Pavlich back after the bye as well, so things are only going to start getting better for Ross Lyon.
What a happy little camper you've been this afternoon.
It's okay, isn't it?
Of course it is.
I'm outnumbered in this town, so...
Personally, I think Kevin Sheedy's the best coach in the AFL. So.
Well, that's right. He's actually going to join us. Of course, Sheeds is clearly the best coach.
He's our next guest and therefore the best coach in the league. Hey, it was
he was back in the 40s. I'm going to pay for that when he gets out.
You're in trouble.
Nice work, Mick. Well, it was a massive week in the press, and we found some headlines that you might have missed. I know Mick Malloy has one.
I do. I've got one right here. This is from The Age early in the week. Eddie Maguire sacks Prince Philip as his head writer. He's done some good work on that front over many years, Prince
This
Philip.
one's from the Herald Sun, amazing. Ricky Nixon reckons Eddie should think before he speaks. That's incredible.
Some good advice there. And this headline in The Australian, Eddie Skinfold's blowout after eating so much humble pie.
We're going to take a break here on Before the Game. When we come back, we're going to cross down to Geelong. We've got heaps on the show. Stick around. A giant of the game. Tonight, footy's favourite front man, Kevin Sheedy, joins us. Strawny gives David Zaharakis the once-over.
Or Winderlick. Yep, Winderlick my ass, I can tell you that.
And we talk to Collingwood's emerging goal sneak, Jamie Elliott. Welcome back to the show. It is Before the Game. Joined on the show tonight by football royalty, one of the greatest men the game has ever seen. What a reputation and record he's got. It precedes him. Please make him welcome Kevin Sheedy, everybody.
great to have you here, mate. And you're doing a great job at GWS. And
Yeah, you vote for Carlton?
I vote for Carlton, yes, so we're happy with you today. I won't deny that. But you know what? There's a lot of money up there, mate, and you're spending it. Sometimes I think you're a bit extravagant in some of the ways you're spending money. I want to take you back to Mother's Day and Jeremy Cameron, one of your players after the game. I mean, he's gone. Did the club issue that flower? Because that is just. I mean,
how do you justify that?
Yeah, how do you justify that?
Well, look, it's obviously won't have his own garden. You know, he's just got to pay a bit more attention to water. It's a bit of a lift in life.
You're so wise.
A bit of life in the flowers wouldn't go astray shoots.
No, look, normally I would drop the play, but he's our best player, so I can't.
Goes right. Some nice things today. Unfortunately, there wasn't enough supply to him down at his end of the ground. The Blues did get hold of you a little bit throughout the game at Etihad Stadium today. And it wasn't quite a 100-point margin, Nez, but in the end it was pretty impressive by the Blues nonetheless.
Yeah, Chris Judd wasn't playing, but Jeff Garlett was sensational once again. The fourth time this season he's kicked 4 goals, so it gave the Blues a fairly handy percentage boost of 10%. So they're certainly going fairly well, but they have a tough month ahead. Essendon, Hawthorn, Sydney and Collingwood. But Kevin, the thing that I wanted to ask you was it wasn't 100 points this game, but over the past month it has averaged out to 103 points each game.
So you're a mathematician, aren't you?
Well,
is that what you paid for to do the maths?
Yeah, that's exactly it. So at what point do you need to start bringing that margin down and getting the wins?
Next week. No, I mean, I think, look, in all honesty, we're basically an under-20 side, and it's very difficult for these players to run out there and know they're going to be playing on a 100-game player or a 150-game player, or you go and pick up Scotland, or you go and pick up, just say, Mark Murphy, and you've got probably 20 games up, or you've got 8 games out. Our back line at one stage there probably would have had one experienced player in the back line, that's Callum Ward, and he was the best player. So, look, it's just about making sure that these guys know they're going to go through a very tough period for a couple of years, and or 3 maybe. I think they'll start getting better next year, but I think in the end we'll have about 3 or 4 players reach their 30th game coming up, and a number of them will play their 15th to 20th. And well, it wouldn't have happened hardly ever before. I mean, even
it's unprecedented.
Gold Coast wouldn't have even had it.
No. But some clubs go through 30 or 40 years of tough periods. So, you know, 2 years is not too bad, is it really?
And you vote for Carlton?
I do vote for Carlton, yes.
Since the 1999 preliminary final, we've allowed you at Essendon at that stage. You lost the grand final, cross. Yeah. Then about 5 wooden spoons nearly followed.
Yeah, all right, well, that was
so will you leave the forest alone?
She's a mathematician. You're a historian, apparently. But you know what? Carlton had some players out. Robert Warnock, our 210-centimetre ruckman, was out.
One kick last week.
He had 1 kick. You're right there last week. But I've got a bone to pick with whoever picks the seats for this. Have a look. He's on the right here. He's the ruckman. He's had to crouch down, basically jump off the seat and be on his knees because they've put a bloody 4-year-old behind him.
That's a bit tough, isn't it?
That is tough.
It is indeed. Hey, Shees, we know you're a giant in the media landscape, and so is Eddie Maguire. You two, you stand out.
Where are you going with this?
No. Well, I'd like to say you like it
for Richmond.
I'm a Richmond supporter. Yes.
Twice.
My name is Michael. I back for Richmond. It's like Alcoholics Anonymous.
30 years to settle out of the finals a couple of times. You're going well, you boys.
I thought you were from Richmond originally too.
Never been to Richmond for the last 30 years.
You used to turn up when you were renegotiating your contracts.
Always.
I'm really nervous right now.
Hello?
Hey.
I'm in negotiation right now.
Good work. We'll have you back. Yeah. We could use you down at Tigerland. But my point is, they asked you about Eddie Maguire and what was he thinking and what was he going through. And I think you've come closest so far to getting to the bottom of this than just about anyone.
Okay. How's Eddie going? Has anyone had a medical report on him lately? I mean, anybody who wants to be coach and president of Collingwood for a decade, that's serious mental problems in there with him.
That is the best explanation I've heard today.
Every 1 in 10, I'm on the money. Now the 9, I'm in trouble.
Hey, we know the situation that Eddie's found himself in this week, Sheeds, and you're in a slightly similar position a couple of weeks ago. Not nearly the same intense scrutiny.
Don't even
but people were accusing you of something that I don't think anybody around this table would agree with. But it was after that Mother's Day game. You'd been beaten by Adelaide at Skoda Stadium, and one of the poorest poorest crowds in recent history of football had turned up.
It was on Mother's Day.
It was on Mother's Day.
It was a very tough day to get a
and
crowd
you
anyway.
In Western Sydney.
You explained the difficulties that you had attracting a crowd thus.
We don't have the recruiting officer called the Immigration Department recruiting fans for West Sydney Wanderers. We don't have that on our side. We're going to actually start a whole new ballpark and go and find fans.
Now, you're being cheeky and you're being a bit provocative.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Absolutely nothing wrong with that.
That's
Actual
a funny thing.
It is.
It's a fact.
Has it been more difficult than you thought it would? I know you go into these things eyes wide open. You've got to, the body of work speaks
You've
for
got to
itself.
have the courage to go there and do it and start. And
Correct.
the beautiful part of this new club, really, is that we're going into an area where we should have been there 30 years ago.
Of course.
So don't buckle when you get 5 or 6 or 7 or 8,000 or you get beaten by 20 goals. Because what's going to happen? And can I remind all you people in the audience and everybody out there?
There's a lot of people watching.
Yeah. You're in trouble. I hope I'm around when you're in trouble.
Expecting the general population.
I think in the end, look, to be quite honest, we've been up to the Immigration Department 2 weeks ahead. We're looking at trying to get a game against Melbourne, obviously. 2 weeks before that, we went out with 25 ambassadors from around the world. And we sat down and we're working on a game that will be a diversity-type game with people coming to Australia to help them get to know Aussie rules, the Australian game. And, of course... then this fell off the shelf, and of course I couldn't help myself. I just want to let everybody know it's a difficult job.
It is a difficult job.
Well, it's a great job.
What I love,
Take
though,
a difficult job. Yeah, what?
Yeah, you get
I don't like the way you Hawthorn people look down the nose at us Giants.
Sheeds, we would never. I want to take my hat off to you because you guys
don't have a hat.
because I've already taken it off. Because at GWS, you don't sit by and watch. You get on the front foot and you address these issues as they come up. And you've changed your recruiting techniques, and we saw that recently.
Okay.
Well, let's have a look here. Trying to get some of the new arrivals into our country. Because this was your criticism out there at Western Sydney.
I thought that was Gold Coast Suns. Really, we'll try anything to get a person to the game of footy.
And speaking of the Hawthorn Footy Club, you've never hid your you respect them, of course. You never hid your dislike for the Hawthorn Football Club, and you might be. Let's be honest. You might be about to. You might be about.
Where are you going now?
You might be about to deal land. I won't be distracted by you.
All the same.
You may be about to land the biggest blow to their solar plexus that they have received for quite some time.
Listen,
at the end
buddy,
of this
don't
year.
muck around with me, buddy.
There you go. It's been reported. What is it? 6 years, 9 million.
1.7 million a year for the big fella, Barney
Well, we
Franklin.
don't have to speculate now. To how much exactly?
So the
Are you doing it?
mathematicians are on this side of the table.
That's it. I'm like Stephen Hawking on this desk.
Is he going to be leaving Hawthorn?
We've got rid of him.
Yeah, we'll talk about him in a minute too.
Yeah, exactly.
Is he going to be joining your football club?
I doubt whether Buddy would leave Hawthorn.
You doubt that?
Hey, Sheeds.
As do I.
Sheeds,
Exactly.
I've been offering Sheeds. I've been doing the buddyometer for weeks now. Like, what are his chances of staying? You're the only one who can actually say which category would you put him in?
This is an outrage.
This is interesting. The buddyometer has spoken.
Sheeds, put it back. Put it off the board.
Okay, that's controversial.
Don't go there.
You're right. You okay?
No, I'm fine.
You're right.
Have GWS made an offer to Buddy Franklin?
I wouldn't have thought so.
You wouldn't have thought so.
So they haven't.
No, I wouldn't have thought so.
Have they made an offer to his manager?
I don't know. That's what you didn't, eh? You didn't like that answer, did you?
I want to pick you up on your maths.
Look, don't worry about Buddy. Let him go and enjoy his footy.
But it'd
Yeah,
be great
right.
to get him up there, wouldn't it? Honestly.
No.
Oh, well, anybody would say no.
Well, they need a big
Isn't he?
star. They need a big star
Exactly.
because
Would you like him at Richmond?
I would love him at Richmond.
you're leaving
Yeah.
at the end of the year, so they need a big star.
Yeah.
You are, aren't you?
I'm on the Parramatta River.
All right, well, maybe you're staying. You're staying. I don't know what you're doing.
Mate, you've made more retirement announcers than heavyweight boxers. How long are you staying for? You're doing another year of coaching, or you're going to coach on after that?
No, leave coaching out of it.
All right.
It's too hard.
Well,
You have a look at these poor
you've
coaches
done
at
pretty
the
well.
moment.
You've
They
done
get
well.
a job, they last 2.8 years and they get sacked.
Is that it?
I want to talk
It's a
to.
tough
I'm
business.
just going to
It
bring
is a
you
tough
up
business.
on your maths for a second. I want to
What's
go back
wrong?
to Hawthorn. You're trying to talk Hawthorn up recently. Just check out how the maths went on this one.
I don't love them. Yeah, I do admire them because they have been to
16 grand finals in the last 15 years and won 11.
That's mathematically impossible.
It's not for Hawthorn.
It's not for Hawthorn.
No, they believe in themselves.
No, yeah.
Hey, Sheeds, it's a massive
See,
night.
that's a very good clip.
It is.
Can I get a copy of that?
We'll get a copy of that too, no problems at all. It's a massive night down the highway here in Victoria because the lights are going on at Geelong.
They're going to turn the lights on.
They're turning the lights on at Geelong.
In 2013.
2013. It's a huge night down there at Geelong, and who better to send down there to be part of the festivities than our great mate Fitzy. Fitzy, it must be one hell of a night down there.
Look at the eyes.
Yeah, Andy, God did say, let there be light, and it's great to see that 6,000 years later that bloody Geelong have got on board. It's magnificent scenes down here at Cardinia Park. The lights are booming, and I tell you what, it's a positive for everyone inside the ground, and now you can see your car getting stolen outside the ground. There are a few negatives, though, guys. We are hearing that the engine room is overheating at the moment, and it's lucky that we're right next to the engine room. You wouldn't believe what's powering these lights. It's ex-Geelong legend Andrew Bewes on the exercise bike. How are you, Bewesy?
I'll tell you what, Fitzy, I'm going okay. I'm feeling all right at the moment.
You're struggling? Now, mate, is someone going to be overtaking you? How long are you going to be on here for?
Well, I'm on here for another half hour, but Billy Brownless apparently is coming to take over. I'm a bit worried.
Right, yeah, we're not going to get to see the last quarter, Bewesy.
No, he's as fat as a fool.
No, that's right. All right. Now, guys, the other negative is as well is that you can see 4 light towers. Unfortunately, last night there was 5. One of them got flogged by some locals in a ute last night, so we've had to get some security. Ex-Geelong hard man, Mark Yates. Yatesy! Hello, mate. Now, Yatesy, can I tell you, have you had to run off the square tonight and clean anyone up, or have they been pretty quiet?
They've been pretty good. There's some kids around here look pretty suspicious, though.
Yeah, right.
Search a few lunchboxes.
And the big question is, if you saw Doomy on the street again, would you, A, clean him up without looking, or this time would you go up and give him the heads up?
I'll probably give him a kiss now.
Yeah, well done, Yatesy. Good man. And we also want to thank the government as well, guys, for assisting with these lights. We were going to get a local member here from Geelong, but I said, stuff that, let's go to the top. Bang, we've got the PM, Julia Gillard. Hello, Jules. Lovely to see you. How are you?
I'm very well indeed.
Is it fair to say that you would have to be the most popular redhead now behind Cameron Lang after putting these lights up? Is that fair to say, Jules?
I'm not in Cameron's league, but it's fantastic to be here and to be celebrating the lights. And don't they look magnificent? I'm looking forward to the match.
They look brilliant. Now, you've spent millions on these lights with Geelong. What are the Western Bulldogs going to get you? The #1 ticket holder there.
Well, we try to look after the Bulldogs too, and I'm certainly barracking for them in the Northern Territory tonight.
And you've had Sandwich Gate this week, Jules. Have you ever had the urge just to pick up the sandwich and throw one back at one of these kids?
Not yet, but let me put the kids of Australia on notice. Next
Jules,
time.
we've got a school kid and a sandwich. Get over here. Get over here, Jules. Julia, Julia, you can't do that. You cannot do that.
Well, I'm not sure. I did.
Yeah, that was me, everyone. Julia, thanks for joining us, and back to you guys in the studio.
Thanks for the feed. Thanks for everybody else down there. It's going to be a big night in Geelong. We'll be able to see that on Fox Footy a little bit later on. She's going to stick around. A break, more to come on the other side of this.
He's everywhere, Demetrio. Can't say a word without him flying over listening. Don't ever let any club or player dominate you. As John Kennedy would say, do something. He's been available for 1 hour. That's pathetic. As I said, 1 hour in a year and a half is not a lot. And he's getting paid. Doesn't matter whether you're from outer space, Russia or NRL. I'll just do anything to help Eddie get off the front page. I care about my Australian people.
Sheeds, we love you.
She's now.
Sheeds.
Okay, she's warming up.
Yeah, we're just getting into it. You've had a lot of great young footballers.
There's a missile coming,
Up there. Well, no, who says? We just want to give you a compliment. So there's a lot of great footballers up there at GWS. A lot of them have improved over the last 2 years. In fact, the one who I think's improved the most.
Who?
The one who has improved the most, well, this guy here. I think he's really come on leaps and bounds. Oh, there he is. I mean, his form this year has been spectacular. So much so that he's been picking the Wallabies squad.
Well, he obviously has. He's finally, to be honest, they've never really touched the ball.
Was that a mistake? Was that a mistake? Seriously?
No. He would play AFL. Don't worry. I mean, his next job's, a goalie.
No, come on, seriously.
Could he have done it?
Yeah.
Could he have made it as a good...
Well, if he had the patience, say, of Mike Pike, yeah.
Was it worth it?
4 years?
Was it worth it for the promotion? Do you think?
Absolutely,
it was worth it.
Oh,
Yep.
No. I mean, look, just because he got paid more than you guys, get over it.
Not more than you do.
And in particular, you, Mr. Finance, write it down.
I do it for nothing. I'll bring you my own lunch.
Your old club, Essendon. Do you?
Two old clubs. Yeah.
Well, your more recent old club that you've spent while I've been alive, your old club, okay?
Chicky babe on the show. Here we go.
Do you feel for
She's
them?
not that young, by the way. Oh, sorry, Sheeds.
Hey, that was out of order, that one. That was out of order.
And every 6 minutes a male bitch. That's all right. Yes, keep going.
Do you feel for what James Hird is going through at the moment and what the club as a whole is going through?
Look, I think that obviously everybody's been disappointed with what's happened, and they need to get their act together, to be honest. And you don't let two possums jump out of a tree and come and wreck your club and get them out of the game.
Sheets, is there a supplements program at GWS?
Yeah, bananas, honey, and...
No, seriously. No, is there
I just told you.
Yeah, but all clubs have got them. Is there
No, we will only get we will get John Quinn, right? He's been with it for 15 years. Okay, he will just know exactly what should be done and what the rules are, and that's the way you run.
And that's my question: is you would put your faith in John Quinn? Would
Absolutely.
you not? You would not necessarily know what the players were taking.
No,
would you?
I don't stand. No, well, I don't walk around corridors looking at what they're eating all the time. What
you don't taste their food, do you?
No.
Well, you might. I don't know what you do.
Have a look at those eyes. I mean, if you ever see a real problem in this country, have a look at the eyes.
They're kind of beady, aren't
No, look at them. Look. Have a look at those eyes. Gee, this country's got problems.
That's creeping me out now.
I appreciate that. You got lost in
When you spoke
mine.
about getting people out of the club, though, and taking responsibility, should James Hird keep his job?
Oh, well, I would think so, but I mean, I don't know all the story yet. We've got to wait for that to unfold. But I mean, as far as I know at the moment, as it comes out, bit by piece by bit, sort of thing.
But if they hadn't got rid of you, it wouldn't be any of this trouble, would it?
I don't want to say that.
Should Mark Neild keep his job?
Gee, I tell you what.
Should Mark Neild keep his
Well,
job?
why wouldn't he?
Well, I'm just asking you.
Well,
you're the one who knows. You're the master coach, and I just want to get your opinions. Should he? He's come out and said he needs another year, or he wants another year. Do you think? And because you went for the
Everybody
job,
at Melbourne needs another year.
Would you believe that?
Well, here's the story that he referred. I mean, time's running out. There's a board meeting on Monday, and I reckon Mickey's question's a valid one. There's a lot of people in footy suggesting that he won't survive. They've got Hawthorn tomorrow, obviously. A lot of people that he won't survive. Yeah, that'll be nice. That he won't survive that board meeting on Monday.
I think Peter Jackson is an experienced operator. He will look at the Melbourne club with an open mind, and I think, honestly, he will sort of give the answers that I think the board and the fans wouldn't need. I think the fans at Melbourne have been fantastic.
I love the fans at Melbourne.
No, I reckon that what they've gone through have been really unreal.
Well, this is typical of one fan. Can I just quickly... One fan
Which club?
when he heard the news
Which
that
club?
Melbourne, when he heard the news that Neild was staying on for another year, this was his reaction. They're just... I love that guy. If someone knows that guy, tell him to give me a call. He needs a cuddle.
You can, you just slice it, don't you? You guys, you do. I mean, I think Jackson will get it sorted out. Honestly, he'll sit down there. He'll say, "Now look, there's a model this club needs to go forward.
Would you have
And-
done anything differently as a coach? Was there anything you could have done that that would have them in a different position?
Absolutely. Not have an interview for a start off.
That went well. There's
No, but I'm
doubt
just
that
saying,
worked.
in the end, look, it's a whole Melbourne club that's got to be built.
Yeah, of
not
course,
just a footy
of
team.
course.
Not just a footy. And Melbourne are a great club. In the historical, 150 years of our game in Victoria, a whole lot. The deal in the end is they're a great club that need to really get this right now.
And one of the great
now.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think that's absolutely true. One of the great stories in your time in footy, particularly as a coach, is going to come to an end now that you've confirmed for us that you won't be coaching next year, and that is the Malthouse v Sheedy rivalry, which continued again today. And just the basic numbers would suggest that despite the fact that you've got more flags than him, I hate to say this to you, Sheeds, but I reckon the numbers would suggest that Mickey's probably got you.
I mean, on the basis of that, do you think...
way?
Well, he's won more games. He's got to more finals.
You've got to win another premiership, mate. Otherwise, you lose.
Are you saying that he won't get another one?
And you won't get it with your mate. Have a bit of fun. I'll tell you what he will do. He'll actually straighten this up and get somewhere near where you should be.
He's doing it
You
already.
should never be where you were.
Absolutely. There's one thing, one stat that he'll never beat you on, and it's passive. Don't be like that.
Passive.
It's passive aggressive compliments. You are the master at that. Here you are talking about Malthouse.
I think Mick's a terrific coach. Anybody who can hang around for 16 years without a premiership and then win one is a genius.
Absolutely.
Thank God.
Just one stat here. This is stat. We love our stats. We love our stats. 88.1% of AFL listed players now were not born when you coached your first game against Mick Malthouse.
I can't help.
88.
I can't help when my mother had me. It's got get over it. Don't bring birth dates into it.
God, you've never looked fitter though. Can I say that?
Colonel Sanders started Kentucky Fried Chicken at 66. Get over it. We are a good group of people in the 60s.
You're aware of that? He's dead.
I'm not sure whether he is.
He's like Elvis.
Cleo.
Now, Sheeds, here is Cleo magazine. 50 most eligible bachelors. It has caused us great sadness here in Victoria that there is not one single Victorian AFL footballer amongst those 50 most eligible bachelors. One of your lads is there.
That's a slight.
Yeah, Dom Tyson. What can you tell us about Dom?
He's injured.
He's injured.
Oh, hello.
So there are the three. So we've got GWS, Brisbane, and the Sydney Swans.
Look, I mean, there's a lot of good looking boys out there in the AFL. The women come to the game. The women, you ladies there, love to come and watch AFL footballers because they've got a nice little torso.
I'm just going to have to cut this segment. I'm just going to have to cut this segment short. I have to
three wives. 3 daughters.
Yep.
3 good.
Yeah, I have to cut this segment short. We have to say goodbye.
I've got to go.
We have to say goodbye to you. Jamie Elliott's going to join us on the other side of break. I'm just actually being told there's been a snap press conference called by one of Victoria's most eligible, who is apologising for the lack of representation on behalf of all of his Victorian colleagues.
I would like to apologise for not representing Victorian footballs in this year's Cleo Bachelor of the Year. I was sure there'd be one, but I figured at the very least that Josh Gibson would have entered himself about 50 times, like he has done every other year. And when they were asking for entrance, I thought I'd been eligible because I'd be married to Miranda Kerr by now. But it turns out her and Orlando Bloom are going very well. I realised I was hungry and have since had a Snickers and can now promise I will give up on winning another premiership and will spend the rest of the year manscaping. I'll even let Limo wax my back. Again.
Special guest, very welcome from the Collingwood Footy Club, Jamie Elliott, everybody. Nice to have you on the show, young fella. They got the points last last night up at the Gabba against the Brisbane Lions. Both sides undermanned. It was a tough slog. Collingwood got the work done in the first half and then hung on in that second half. Ned?
Yeah, 9 goals to 2 in the first half, so it was all over pretty early up at the Gabba. Dane Swan back in the middle, and he had a fantastic game. 36 touches and a couple of very opportunistic goals. The Pies without Travis Cloke, who was a late withdrawal with a virus. So Swan certainly the star, and he had a little interesting bit to say straight after the game.
I suppose it's nice to get back into the middle. I've been a bit forward up the last couple of weeks, but I suppose it's nice to get back to where I think I belong and try and get a few kicks and help the side that way. But it is what it is, so as long as we win, mate.
Interesting one. Do you think he's best in the middle?
I think so, yeah. Obviously, he's a great clearance player and he gets his hands on the ball so much. I think he should be predominantly in the midfield.
So you think Bucks has got it wrong on this one?
Yeah, I do.
When you've got him alongside Pendlebury and alongside Ball when he's back in the side and Beams when he comes back in, I mean, you back that midfield with that talent against any midfield in the competition.
Yeah, you would, but obviously he's so dangerous. When you put him in the forward line, I don't think defenders get scared of playing against him. So I think that's why Bucks put him down there, but he's so good in the midfield, so he can go anywhere.
Watching last night, that felt as though watching the game that it was over pretty quickly from a spectator's point of view. How was it out there?
Obviously, we had a great first half. We played how we wanted to play, and in the second half, it was a little bit disappointing. We felt like they outran us, and I suppose we had a few young boys playing, and that might have been the humidity that got to the bodies, but we didn't run it out how we'd liked. But the first half was very promising, and that's how we wanted to play our footy.
But how important was it to bounce back? Because last week it was not a good effort against Sydney.
Yeah, obviously we've been up and down lately, and we haven't been able to finish off games as well as we'd liked. But against Brisbane, we started strongly and held on to the win. So we just want to obviously keep this form up and try and move forward.
You said the humidity got to the bodies, and that interests me because I know that Bucks has got a problem with your skinnies, yeah? Your skinnies are too high. Heath Shaw's in particular, which means he's carrying too much fat, yeah? So the skin fold tests are an issue with Heath Shaw. I mean, he was back in last night and he played well last night.
Yeah, he did. And it's hard to be honest, Jamie, it's hard to spot a problem with Heath Shaw. Let's have a look at him here. So, the jumper is riding up a bit. To be fair, there are some love handles there. Yeah,
it's like a boob tube.
Even the shorts are
he's
coming
having a
off.
problem with his shorts here. I don't know what. Has he got an unusually large bum as well? It's hard to say.
Well, that's not doing him any favours. That was about 4 years ago, is it?
It was recent, mate. Don't question us.
Heath Shaw, how did he take it throughout the week, being the coach just saying that so publicly that he needs to get the skin folds down?
I think he's such a relaxed bloke. He just he copped it on the chin and he didn't worry too much about it and just
Both
got
chins,
back to.
or just the one?
He copped it on all three.
It's the public, all three. You said, all right. It's the public nature of these skin fold tests. I mean, are you prepared to take one right now? A skin fold test?
Wow.
Let's do it.
All right, let's have a look at how you are. Just go there. Let's have a look at how you are down there. You've clocked it.
I've got to say, you hide that very well, Jamie.
Look, I've spent about 3 weeks at Heaters, so I think that's where it's come in.
No, in the interest of fairness, we've got to say that was actually Mick Malloy's go.
I'm a stomach model. Hey, you pulled them apart last night, but there was no Brown. It makes a big difference. He drives that team. We all know that. He's like a giant in the game. And just to show you how popular he is, here they are, like queuing up for autographs. This is how it works out at Brisbane. Here he is. Massive queue for Brown. See him there. He's that popular. Let's have a look at the other players. It's one-man team. We did miss the queue there, but there was a massive queue of people.
Who's the most popular bloke at Collingwood? Who's numero uno? Who's the one?
I reckon Alan Didak fancies.
Alan Didak, no one. Okay, righto.
Wow.
Hey, Jamie Owen's going to stick around. We've got plenty more to talk to him about on the program. And on the other side is Hughesy and Tool of the Week. Before the game Jamie Elliott from Collingwood, very talented young man, Lumo.
He is indeed, but Jamie, I was a bit disappointed with you recently when out on the ground, off the play, you headbutted Justin Kazitsky's elbow. I thought it was outrageous of you. Bang, there you go. You just slam your head straight into his elbow.
What do you think?
And he ended up getting suspended for that. How was your noggin post that incident?
Oh, I was just trying to get a kick, but the umpire didn't give me a free kick for that. But
did he call you? He called you, didn't he?
He did call me.
Yeah.
Called me the next day and apologised. Just said that's not what he's about. He doesn't do that sort of thing. He doesn't look for that on the ground. So it was really good I didn't expect it at all, and it was really good of him to call me. So
there should be more of that. In fact, we've got some footage of him making the call here. This is because he does this occasionally. And look, we know he's a bit clumsy, but
no,
Cozzy, no. That was 20 floors up, that was.
But he's fine.
Is he okay?
He's absolutely fine. Now it's time for our favourite segment here on the show. It's the Home Hardware.
I hate having a crack at umpires because they've got a very difficult job, but sometimes they get it wrong, yeah? Sometimes they get it wrong. Let's have a look at last week when Jack Riewoldt was playing over, and he goes for a big mark, and look what happens to him. He pushed. He pushed me, umpire. He pushed me. Didn't you see him push me, umpire? That was dangerous. Now, let's have a real close look at how that went, and the massive push that Jack got. Watch this. He pushed me! The invisible man pushed you, didn't he, Jack? We love you, Jack Riewoldt, but this week you're the Home Hardware Tool of the Week. You go with the trade.
And good luck on Monday night. Got to get a quick break out of the way. Jamie Elliott from the Pies to stick around. Jamie Elliott from Collingwood, our special guest. Huge game of footy. We know Geelong taking on Gold Coast. The lights are on down there, Mickey.
Gary Ablett making his return to Geelong. I'm pretty sure we'll get a warm welcome, especially if this guy has anything to say about it.
I'll certainly be in people's faces. Anybody criticises Gary Ablett, and I'll get stuck into him.
I don't care how many times we play that. That never loses its charm. It's one of the greats.
Yes. Emotion runs deep, doesn't it, Jamie, in footy?
Yeah, it does. No, I don't know about that. That was pretty fun.
It's good news for Geelong, though. They've had a bad run, but with Ford going out of business and the baby bonus being axed, it's been tough for Geelong.
The final siren almost upon them up at the SCG. Progress score. Sydney just a bit too good for the Bombers. It's been a tough night for Essendon there, Ollie.
Yeah, there was a nice moment at the start of the game. Jobe Watson, the skipper, seeked out Adam Goodes after a tough week. But, Courtney Dempsey, it's not good. He copped a bit of a hip or a knee from Nick Smith to the back. They believe he's got bruised ribs, but certainly held up the game, and he was not in a good way. So we hope that he's fine and he will be fine, but certainly not looking good.
Yep. There we go. Hey, Jamie, quickly dobbing a teammate. Cleo's 50 most eligible bachelors. Who would be the most likely to jump on board from Collingwood?
Alex Solo, definitely.
Oh, yeah. Do you think about that?
No, just straight up.
Great to have you on the show. It's great to see the young kids representing so well.
Really well, buddy. Really well.
Coming on. Jamie Elliott from the Collingwood Footy Club. Brent Harvey's 350th tomorrow. North Melbourne are selling these jumpers at the game tomorrow. They want everyone to get one, so make sure if you're going, you get a jumper. We're back next week. We'll see you then.